Is it true that there are a lot of creepy religious cults?
Oh,
yeah,
back
a lot.
where I used to live in, man, like that metro station. Is it safe for women to roam around late at night alone?
I hear Korean men are mostly circumcised. Is that true? When I went to the military and I was in the shower, like,
안녕하세요, what is up, Ducks Quack Quack, Danny Kim.
David, and welcome to another session of the 40 most important questions about Korea, part 2. Woo! Since you guys liked it so much last time, it was indeed the most important questions. But speaking of important, before we go on into the video, we'd like to introduce you to the sponsor of this video, which is a very helpful site called Skillshare. As YouTubers, we like to constantly improve and upgrade ourselves in terms of creativity and video production, storytelling, and more. And Skillshare really helps us in those areas a lot.
For example, a class that I took was TikTok for everybody, and it's been really helping me make these cool TikToks.
Okay, it's making you Gen Z.
Yeah,
enough.
it's giving me some quirk. It's giving me some courage to make some TikToks. So on Skillshare, you can enjoy thousands of classes like these. For creators within the online learning community. You can explore new skills, boost your passions and creativity. Class topics include illustration, making TikToks, photography, video, freelancing, a lot of things. It's curated specifically for learning, meaning there's no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes, so you can continuously upgrade your creativity and skill sets. So use the link in the description box below. The first 1,000 people to use that link will get a free trial, 1-month trial of Skillshare Premium. Go out there, learn something, have fun, make TikToks, and back to the video.
Okay, let's go on with the important questions. How much alive is traditional folk culture, dressing in traditional attire, folk songs, etc.?
It's alive in a sense, but I've never worn a hanbok in the past 2 decades.
I've only worn it during traditional holidays like Chuseok, Seollal, when I was really young, when my grandparents kind of forced me to wear it.
And they thought it was cute.
Yeah, or also when you go to Gyeongbokgung, you can like rent some hanboks.
Oh yeah, I wore a hanbok.
Only those occasions. But we're getting modernized hanboks these days. So.
How common is BTS in Korea? Like, are there faces everywhere or no? They're very common.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
On the subway, on the bus, on
I see
products.
them every single day.
You've mentioned most Koreans don't listen to idol music. Then what do they listen to?
I listen to 새소년.
No, not like that specifically.
Okay. A lot of people listen to Korean hip hop. Hip hop, I think, is the most popular genre.
No, I would say ballad is more.
Ballad and hip hop.
The young generation would listen to a lot of hip hop, R&B.
Why is it hard to find public trash cans? Where do you guys throw your rubbish out and about? It's hard to find because actually, the broken glass theory. If there's broken glass, people will put trash there. The government thought like if there's trash cans, people will start carrying trash. So that's why a lot of the times they got rid of the trash cans.
That's why the streets are so clean. If tattoo is illegal in South Korea, will you be questioned where you get one if you have it?
No, unless it's a cool tattoo. You can find tattoo shops everywhere. They have signs, they have Instagram, big Instagram accounts. They're very accessible. It's not like some underground shit.
But they don't like advertise over the top.
Like you
Operate
can walk
with
in,
DMs and
like where there's a tattoo shop.
The funny thing is you need like a doctor's license to actually operate with tattoos in Korea.
Yeah, but like the police aren't gonna crack down on a tattoo shop. Never seen that happen. How often do you really eat instant ramen?
I eat instant ramen every single day. 3 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning, 12 p.m.
I think if you live alone or if you're unhealthy, you eat ramen a lot.
Yeah, if you go to convenience stores, you always get instant ramen. You go to Hangang, you get instant ramen everywhere. How fluent do you have to be to enter a Korean club if you're a foreigner?
What?
In Korean, I guess.
Like nightclub? You don't need to be fluent at all.
Yeah, you can just
dance.
go. I mean, there are some clubs that
are xenophobic.
Okay, so like the dancing clubs with the DJs and stuff, I don't think there's gonna be any problem if you speak Korean or not. But if you go to one of the hunting clubs, more of like the local clubs where people just mingle together, socializing and stuff, then some of the guards might test your Korean, and I guess you would have to be pretty fluent to get in.
Do people look down on you in Korea if you're overweight? Good question. I've never been overweight, so I don't really know.
Actually, there is a lot of fat shaming in Korea.
That's true.
Mildly fat, people make fun of you. I get made fun of a lot that I'm fat. But actually, if you're like fat, like people don't really say it in your face, but they have like these...
They will look down on you.
They'll just hide their feelings inside and judge you.
They might think you're lazy.
General sentiment is like fat people are lazy. They don't take care of themselves. That even leads to disadvantages in job applications and stuff.
Why are there red crosses everywhere?
It's because Christianity is huge in Korea. It's kind of diminishing, but at the same time, like the older generation and a lot of people still believe in Jesus, gods. Those red crosses are all churches, and for some reason they have those neon.
I don't know why they have red though.
It attracts
kinda
people.
Scary. It's kind of scary.
Actually, when I'm walking around in the alley or at night, when I see the cross, I feel very safe.
Oh, you're like, okay, this is safe alley?
Yeah, there's no demons here. What is the LGBT dating scene like? Is it harder to date if you're foreign, and where is it?
Okay, you're asking the wrong questions to the wrong people, my guy.
The LGBT community is relatively very hidden, not very open in our society. So you would have to get into like the inner circles or like the community itself. I would say it would be harder to date if you're foreign, because even if you were heterosexual, it would be hard for you to date a Korean person in general. So if there's
a language barrier.
Yeah, where is it? I honestly don't know, but I heard that there were like secret hideouts in certain places. Yeah, in Hongdae or like Jongno and stuff like that. Yeah.
Is it safe for women to roam around late at night alone? Relatively.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak for them.
From what I've heard from my friends, they said they have never experienced a problem working out at night in Hangang alone or walking through Hongdae fully drunk and stuff
I mean,
like
I
that.
still be careful, especially in maybe more sketchier areas.
Yeah.
But if you stick to the big populated areas like Gangnam or Hongdae, those areas, they're very
They're
safe.
heavily under surveillance. Do Korean males have to seek out or impress a woman, or is it common for dating to be 50-50 effort?
Not 50-50. I would say more impress women.
Yeah, I would say like 80-20.
Yeah, sometimes 100-0.
Yeah, because you always have to pay for the first meal. You always have to pay for the bigger amount of money on a date.
Yeah.
It's not like you always have to, but like the social...
It's kind of expected.
Yeah, pressure is like that.
I don't like that.
It's also expected for the dude to actually try to impress the girl and confess his feelings first. Usually the dudes that take the steps first.
Right. How common is plastic surgery? I didn't do it. You didn't do it.
I would say it's very common though.
A lot of girls.
Yeah, a lot of girls probably have at least one plastic surgery. Not all of them, but maybe like over my friends, like when they graduate high school, they all go to plastic surgeons to get double eyelids or a nose job or whatever. Like even the smallest things, we count that as plastic surgery. If you go to Gangnam though, a lot of people. What are the top universities?
Sky, Seoul National University, Korea University, and Yonsei University.
And there's also the KAIST and Pohang Technological, like the MIT of Korea. Does the military service affect your studies, as it makes you 2 years smaller than the rest of the students?
Smaller?
Less, I guess.
You go on a vacation for 2 years. Yeah, your head gets a little rusty.
Yeah.
But I think also it kind of drives the passion in going to school more, because you're stuck in essentially prison for 2 years, and then you get out, you get excited for school. I studied so hard after I finished my military service.
But what I think this person is meaning is that actually there's a lot of gender conflict on this issue, because if males go to the military for 2 years, you're equivalent, the same age. If you're a woman, you get to like go on interns, you get to go on exchange student.
I was definitely envious about all the girls that were going on like exchange student programs.
There might be small disadvantages in life, I guess.
Why are Korean parents so conservative when it comes to their children dating foreigners?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know what the reason is, but my parents and my grandparents are like that too. It's just because we're generally a homogenous society. We're just not used to foreigners. Also, I think it's because of the awkwardness that the parents want to avoid with the communications or the cultures. And
I think they're just less comfortable.
I did hear there's a lot of stereotypes against like foreigners, that they're like way more open or like progressive than Korean people, because Koreans are very conservative towards like tradition and stuff. And if a person is like way too open or progressive, they're like, that person is not a good person. The parents don't like people who are open about sex, like tattoos, or like very vocal, and parents like obedient, those kind of people.
Wow.
Underrated places to visit in Korea.
The bike trail from Incheon to Busan.
Okay.
It's amazing, 600 kilometers.
I would say go to the rural countryside and explore some hidden mountains, hike up them, and then go to like these Buddhist temples. It's really good.
I bet you never did any of what you just said.
We went to one together.
All right.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Are concepts like veganism and climate change popular among folks in Korea? Honestly, no. There's more and more vegans, I think, than the past decade or so.
Yeah.
Climate change, I mean, we don't really talk about climate change here, honestly. I mean, Korean people actually are one of the best recyclers in the world. We recycle like crazy. I've never seen better recycling than in Korea.
Yeah,
we take out the labels on plastic bottles. It's crazy. But at the same time, like, Korea is such a small country that like whatever effort that we do,
If America just dumps everything,
it's like it feels kind of like
China.
very minuscule to the grand scheme of climate change.
Yeah.
So I don't think we really talk about climate change that much
Why Koreans love ice Americano so much?
because it tastes good.
Because it's cheap.
Do South Koreans hate North Koreans? Mostly.
I don't think they hate the people.
They
just
hate the government.
Yeah.
They hate Kim Jong-un.
Actually, though, like historic, our grandparents' generation, they experienced the Korean War. My grandpa had to fight in the Korean War. He lost a lot of his friends and family, lost his home. So I guess there is some like underlying sentiment against North Koreans.
Are Koreans materialistic, like showing off branded things from bags, shoes, and even cars? I would say
think
very
so.
so,
Yeah.
actually. I think that's one of the downsides of such fast growth in this capitalist society is that people cling on to possessions, brands, to prove that they're worthy. They like nice cars. Actually, Korean people are the second largest or third largest buyers of like Mercedes and stuff. And also like people line up like for
Chanel,
hours, for Chanel, for
Louis Vuitton, everything.
all those brands. So I would say Korea is pretty materialistic.
At the same time, one pro is that because the industry here is so big and it's like so trend savvy, like we became the leaders of fashion or something in the world.
Not us.
Do Koreans look down on divorces like in the dramas?
I would say that's changing right now, but it's still there's a stigma.
I think parents think if you've been married before, it kind of like devalues someone or something.
It means you've gone through one failure before.
Yeah.
This is what they feel.
Yeah.
So yeah, they prefer single people.
How many cafes are in Korea?
About 3 million.
A gazillion. Of every type, every theme.
Does Korean man like makeup? Actually, no.
Yes, they do.
You don't wear makeup. I don't really wear makeup.
Korean men don't like makeup, but it's very common and it's not like frowned upon. Like it's very normal. I've seen a lot of dudes have like routines for their skin, you know, sun cream, BB cream,
that's
tints, and then like they get like eyebrow tattoos and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We take care of ourselves.
Yeah. Is alcoholism recognized as a disease in Korea? Does rehab exist in Korea?
I don't think it's really considered as a serious disease. Unless you're like really serious alcoholic.
Right. Everyone's pretty much alcoholic in Korea.
Yeah, like I used to be alcoholic.
Everyone just enjoys alcohol, and the culture is just huge here.
I never been to
Even
rehab.
if you get wasted, drunk every single day, people will actually clap at you.
When you're 25.
Even if you're in the office, like people will praise you if you drink well every single day.
Is it true that Koreans are scared of sleeping with their fans switched on? Actually, my parents
too.
They think you're gonna die.
I even showed them like a YouTube video that is scientifically proven that it's fake, but my mom doesn't believe it. She's still like, it becomes like dry and
hyperthermia or something.
Whatever. I don't know
what the
that's
logic
like a
is.
strange urban myth. Do you think honorifics or formal, informal speech culture will change with the younger generations?
Yes, I mean language always changes. The figure of speech that we use is pretty different from what our parents used. I think the level of formality continues to become like softer, I think.
Yeah, but the honorifics will stay. Do Korean men like being called oppa by foreigners?
Yeah,
a lot.
Why not?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people like blush because of that.
Korean men just like being called oppa.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the wedding ceremony? Is it the same for old and new generations?
I don't know. I've been to only like 2 weddings in my life.
For the older generations, they wear hanboks and do all that kind of stuff.
We still do that.
Well, it's still there, but it's not that much prevalent. Mostly it's Western these days.
Yeah.
Tuxedos, dresses, and go through the hallway and bouquets.
Honestly, like Korean weddings are, at least the ones that I've been to, are like pretty bland.
It's very superficial too.
It's very superficial. You just go there, pay money, and then like you watch the ceremony. No one really cares about the ceremony, and then you just go to the buffet.
Yeah.
Is it true that you carry a toothbrush with you all the time? No.
When you're in school or in the office, is it easy and secure for a family with a child to visit Korea for vacation? Yeah.
Yeah?
Why not? It's not
I'm
like
confused by this question.
we're not in war or anything.
Technically we are.
Be
careful of North Korea, guys.
Just kidding. Korea is one of the safest countries in the world. Is clothing there expensive? Looking at the clothes, it looks like it.
Yes, I would say it's on the expensive side, especially because there's like not a lot of those cheap ass clothing stores that you have in America, like the Nordstroms and shit like that, where
Walmart.
Everything's like so cheap.
But I would say if you go to like Hongdae or Myeongdong, you could get some good streetwear that is kind of cheap at the same time. Is it impolite to ask someone's age when you first meet them? Actually, that is the norm though. If you get a little friendly.
Yeah.
That's one of the first questions that pop out. It's usually like, oh, what's your
right.
name? Where do you live? What's your
Okay,
age?
yeah.
And then you get like the order.
But in a professional setting, you would not do that.
Right.
If you're a professional setting, then like you don't really talk about age.
Yeah, but if you're just hanging out, age comes up.
If you're friends, are Koreans as beautiful as we see them on the internet? I guess.
I guess the average is pretty high because everyone takes care of themselves a lot.
Yeah. We care about appearance.
Is it true that there are a lot of creepy religious cults?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Back
a lot.
where I used to live in, man, like that metro station is filled with some sort of cult shit that's like asking me to do a survey every
Yeah.
time I go there, and then if you do the survey, they'll take you to a cult.
They come to you and say like, oh, you look like you have some kind of
Honestly, though,
energy.
most of them are like just dumb people that are brainwashed.
Yeah.
So they're not really harmful.
Yeah.
Like they just annoy you, but they're not like gonna like kidnap you.
Yeah.
They just ask you like, oh, do you know the direction? And then they suddenly say, by the way, I like the look. You know,
Yeah.
I like the energy coming
Yeah.
off of you. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, just ignore them and go.
Yeah.
I hear Korean men are mostly circumcised. Is that true? And is that super weird enough?
People of my generation, like the 90s kids, they're 90% circumcised.
Wait, is the world not circumcised?
No.
Or
Circumcision
Europe?
is not really like, it's more like a Jewish thing.
Yeah, it's the Bible.
Yeah, it's a Jewish thing. I don't know how it got here, but supposedly it was supposed to be something that's like more clean. But actually nowadays, I heard that the norm is to not get circumcised.
I mean, we have everyday showers and stuff, so like, why do you need to be circumcised?
But like, I heard the norm now is to not get
Oh,
circumcised.
really?
So
Because when I went to the military and I was in the shower, like 99% of them were
Yeah.
circumcised.
Our generation is all circumcised. Why do K-dramas show people patting the head of someone to show affection? Is that real? I would say that's pretty
we
real.
do that a lot.
Girlfriends
or
boyfriends.
and even moms.
You don't do that to like someone. that's,
I
like,
wouldn't do it to him.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, you're
That would be.
Ew!
That would be disgusting.
not because we're like homophobic or anything, because we're like just friends and like partners. Like we wouldn't do that.
Business partners.
Are haircuts expensive in Korea?
No, it's not expensive compared to America.
Really?
America is like crazy expensive.
Oh, really?
An average male haircut would be like $15 to $20.
Yeah, for girls, it's more expensive.
For girls,
I heard it's like 40.
It's crazy. Girls are crazy.
Like the
I don't
perms
know.
and the
Like,
the dyeing
the
and stuff.
maintenance
It goes up
fees
to like
on
300.
being a woman.
How costly is college education in Korea? Is it like the USA? Really expensive?
No, I would say Korean education is really, really cheap. At least college tuition. So it's about $8,000, $7,000 for a year in a good university. But even then, like, there's actually a lot of scholarships. Why Korean people use so many dishes on the table to eat, and who wash them after eating?
It's because we have a lot of side dishes called panchans. We like to have variety on our table. There's a lot of green. And
But honestly, if you eat at home, you don't really go all that out.
But still, you would have at least like 5
3.
dishes.
5 is a lot.
Rice, soup, kimchi, and then main, and then at least one more like
Kimchi plus
spinach or
something else, and then
Spinach.
the main dish.
Yeah. What exactly is nunchi in Korean culture? Can you explain a bit in detail?
It means basically reading the room.
Read the vibes, atmosphere.
And I would say this is very important.
Someone's in a bad mood and you go like, oh, let's go party. Can you walk around outside barefoot?
No, this is not Australia.
What?
What do Koreans hate about other Koreans?
I think some Koreans hate some Koreans because they're nosy. A lot of Koreans like ojirap. They like to stick their heads into other people's business.
Right.
And they like to judge and they like give counseling advice when they're not qualified either.
Speaking of judging, it's a very judgmental society.
Right.
Korean people judge each other a lot. There's a lot of keeping up with the Joneses. They look down on you if you have like a small house or a small car or a small...
Also, how can you make friends if Koreans are afraid to talk to strangers?
You can't.
You just need to get friends within your circle, like
You-
school or work.
You go into clubs,
Oh,
you
like
know,
social
chess
clubs?
club or something.
Yeah. You need
something
some
more interesting than chess.
running clubs or book clubs.
Yeah, that's actually pretty developed, I would say. Like a lot of older people, they go into like sports clubs or stuff like that,
Yeah.
and that's where they socialize.
So that was it for the 40 most important questions of Korea part 2. Go watch part 1.
Yeah.
Maybe part 3 if you want this more. Go check out Skillshare in the description. Get that free trial, and we'll see you guys next time.